Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for you to join me in today's video because I've just come back from an incredible adventure to Peru with EF Ultimate Break. I had the chance to explore everything from Machu Picchu to the beautiful cities of Peru. And trust me, it was an experience of a lifetime. I'm even more pumped because I'm an ambassador for EF. This means I can share an awesome deal with you guys. If you're thinking about planning your own trip with EF Ultimate Break, you can use the link in my description to save $200 on your first EF adventure. Alright, let's dive right into the full trip review of my trip to Peru. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my future adventures. Let's get right into the video. So day one, you fly from your destination to Lima. You get in pretty late, so day one is mostly just a travel day. We arrived around 11 o'clock and then we took a transport to the hotel. It was pretty busy, so we didn't make it to the hotel until about midnight. This first day was pretty long as I started my travel day at 6 a.m. and didn't get there until about midnight. We wake up bright and early on day two, well rested and ready to meet the group. We met with our tour guide Sally in one of the hotel boardrooms where we would meet the rest of the people on our tour. She would go over some of the things on the tour that we'd be doing and our schedule. After about an hour, we would then go and start our sightseeing tour of Lima. We would take a nice walk to the coast and get a good view of the ocean. Then we hopped on a bus and went to the city center, which was called Plaza de Armas. And we would go through and go to the museums. We went to catacombs and we saw very, very cool architecture. We also got to get a sense of the culture as we walked through a fair area and got to try some food and watch some live performances. This was definitely a relaxed day where we were able to just kind of get to know everybody and do some exercises to get to know everybody, so kind of gets you out of your comfort zone, but allows you to meet people easier. So if you're worried about meeting people because it's your first trip, your tour guide will make it very easy for you to do this. And everyone is very friendly on these trips, so there's nothing to worry about anyways. You'll make friends very easily. You just have to try. So we also had lunch on this day, and then we go back to the hotel, shower, and then we had our welcome dinner. This welcome dinner was included in the trip, and we walked to this predetermined restaurant and tried some Peruvian food. I believe I got lomo saltado, which is one of Peru's famous meals. It was very, very good. And it came with pisco sours. Pisco sours are very good, but they are also very strong. So after about a day in Lima, you are off to Cusco the next day. So day three, you wake up very early. I want to say 6 a.m., which is pretty average for the trip. You're waking up pretty early, and you're traveling from Lima to Cusco. This is a very short flight, about an hour 15 minutes, and you are in Cusco. When we land, we get all of our stuff and head to our hotel, one that we stay at for most of the trip, which is definitely nice because most EF trips you're moving around a lot. So having one main spot is pretty nice. So we meet and talk about the day at the hotel, and then we start our sightseeing tour of Cusco. We go to see the small Christ the Redeemer, then we see some archaeological sites, and go to a shop that has real baby wool from alpacas and llamas. In my opinion, the cost was very, very expensive at this place. So if that's something that you're looking to do is get real stuff, I would buy there. But in my case, I didn't need anything real, and I was able to a lower price in the shops in the city. But again, that's totally up to you. Then we would then walk to a beautiful viewpoint of the city and just kind of hang out for the rest of that night and begin to just keep making friends. This group in general was the biggest group I've had in an EF trip. There was 40 people. This was my 4th trip, and my next highest was about 25. So trying to meet everybody and make friends was definitely difficult because there was a lot of people to try to get to know, but it was definitely interesting, and I loved getting to know everybody on my tour. So this leads us to day 4. Day 4 was kind of a free day. We were able to decide what we wanted to do, and a bunch of people went ATVing, while me and a couple other people decided to take a cooking class. That was inside the place we went to the day prior for the beautiful viewpoint. And I'm very happy that I made this decision. Normally I'm not into cooking classes, but this cooking class was really fun, and the food that we made was absolutely delicious. We made a starter that was ceviche, and it was absolutely delicious, and it looked really cool, and it was really easy to make. As our main, we did the lomo saltado, which again was so good. And this also included smoked pisco as our drink, and those were also very good. Just going through the process of making the food from start to finish was really awesome. We got to do all the seasoning, the cutting, and even putting it on the grill and sauteing it, which was really cool. And if you do decide to do the cooking class, I would also say get the chocolate cake that comes with it. It is kind of expensive, but you guys can all share, and it tastes amazing. So all of that together is just perfect. I think that it took about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours that we had. So then we met up with our group and we all decided to go to dinner together. After that, Sally, our tour director, set up salsa dancing. So we went up to a bar and learned to salsa dance, which was really fun. We then continued on that night and went to a club and drank, which was also a really good time. We stayed out till about midnight, 1, as a big group, and I felt very safe. Cusco is a city that doesn't sleep. They're up very late, partying, having fun, but it's definitely a very safe spot. So I wouldn't be worried about that. I would just stay in groups and you'll be fine. So for the next couple of days, we will be moving locations, but you're only taking a small bag. For that reason, you need to have like a backpack that you can put your clothes in for about 2 days worth of clothes, as you are going to be leaving Cusco and going into the Sacred Valley region. This is your entrance into Machu Picchu. So over the next 2 days, you will be heading to Aguas Calientes. So once you pack that bag, you then give your suitcase to Sally, and she keeps your rooms for those 2 days, or 2 to 3 days that you're gone. And then when you come back, you'll likely have your same room, but you will still be in the same hotel when you arrive back. So just make sure you pack the right amount of clothes. You will be doing a hike, and if you do the return, you will be doing 2 hikes. So have your nice clothes for your Machu Picchu pictures, but also know that it could be hot and you're doing a nice hike. Also, make sure you have bug spray, because the mosquitoes at Machu Picchu are very, very feisty and they will bite you. So that leads us to day 5. Day 5, you take a transfer to the Sacred Valley to a place called Ollantaytambo. You will stay here for a night and you get a free lunch, which is kind of like a buffet style. And it was pretty good. Once you make it to Ollantaytambo, you get to climb the fortress that they made, which is absolutely incredible. The architecture and the beautiful village that they have near it. You then get a dinner later that night, and it wasn't the best. The service was we kind of overpacked the restaurant, and they kind of messed up some of our orders. But it was free, so I wasn't too worried about it. At the same time, you're pretty exhausted, so we made it back to the hotel, and we were told by Sally that we might have to leave early to get to Aguas Calientes, where Machu Picchu is, as there were going to be protests and they would shut down the roads. So we had to leave earlier than expected, but Sally was on top of that and we were able to get to Aguas Calientes with no problems. Protests and things like this happen all the time in Peru, and your tour guide will be on top of it, so it's really nothing to be worried about, as we were able to make it to Machu Picchu no problem. So that leads us to day 6, waking up bright and early at about 4:30 a.m. to get on the bus by 5. We headed from Ollantaytambo to Aguas Calientes. Right when we made it, hopped on a bus and took the 30-minute drive up to the wonder of the world. We then got a tour of Machu Picchu. It was absolutely stunning. Our tour guide told us about the ancient history of Machu Picchu and even gave us some demonstrations on what the people likely would have done. By the time we were finished with the tour, we decided to hike back down the mountain. It was very hot and I was sweating a lot, but the walk down wasn't too bad. You could pay extra and take a bus down, but I decided not to do that. It's pretty steep down, but it's not anything too crazy. And as we made it back into Aguas Calientes, we went back to our hotel. Since I was very sweaty, I took another shower and then we went to dinner. We were then told by Sally that there are some options for us to do the next day while we're in Aguas Calientes, and one of those was a massage. Some people did it that same night as they were doing the return to Machu Picchu. I did not do the return to Machu Picchu, so I was setting up my massage for day 7. The people that decided to do the return to Machu Picchu woke up very early and went to Machu Picchu again and actually climbed Machu Picchu mountain. This might not be the same on every tour, but it just ended up being the route that they got. They had a good day, and everyone I asked and talked to said it was really cool, but also kind of scary. At points, the hike was very steep, but everyone that did it had a great time. But for me, I was able to sleep in, wake up, and then have some breakfast and go get a massage. This was my first massage, and it was a hot stone massage. It was absolutely amazing. I would definitely recommend getting one. We then hopped on a train and made our way back to Ollantaytambo. I want to say the ride was about an hour to 2 hours, and then you had another hour to 2 hours on a bus from Ollantaytambo back to Cusco. By the time you made it back to Cusco, it was already pretty late, so some people went out and drank a little bit more. So now day 8. Day 8 was another free day. Our tour guide gave us plenty of options. There was day tours to Amante Lake, there was day tours to Rainbow Mountain, and then there was also Sky Lodge. So me and a couple of other people decided to do Sky Lodge. This was not one of the recommended activities. Me and a couple of friends saw this and decided that we wanted to do it. And Sky Lodge essentially is a via ferrata up a cliff about 1,000 feet in the air. That includes 6 zip lines and the climbing. They give you a good lunch that's included in the fee. So we woke up that morning, took about an hour and a half ride to the via ferrata. We then climbed, which was very scary, as it was my first time doing a via ferrata, and I'm not the biggest fan of heights, but I'm very happy that I did it because it was an amazing experience. Once we made it to the top, pretty exhausted, we then ate our lunch and then began to descend using the 6 zip lines. These zip lines were very, very long and really fast, but they were so much fun. I think if you're looking to do something different than hiking, that this is an amazing alternative. So this excursion pretty much was an all-day one. So I think we left at around 7 and got back around 4 p.m. And we had our final add-on, which was the Pisco workshop. And the Pisco workshop was really, really fun. You got to try 3 different Piscos, which were very, very strong. And then you were able to go behind the bar and make your own. And that experience was really cool. And that was really fun, being able to make your own drink with the help. And it actually came out really good in the end, which was really surprising because I didn't think my drink was going to be very good. I thought it was going to be too strong. So then we drank that, and we were all kind of feeling it, and we went to our farewell dinner, which was right after that. Everyone continued to get a couple more drinks and have a lot of fun, because this was pretty much our last night. So we were all eating, drinking at this long table with some live music, and we were just having a great time. We then continued that great time into a karaoke bar, and ended up staying up pretty late and just enjoying our last day together. Even though this was only about a week, it felt like I got to know all 40 people really well and just had such a good time. And I didn't really want to go home. So the next morning, had to wake up pretty early, had some liquid IV to make sure I wasn't too hungover the next day. And we were flying back to Lima that day. Luckily, we didn't have to instantly hop on a flight from Lima to go back. So we had that day to relax. We got a hotel room for the day, and we could just kind of do whatever we wanted. So we walked back to the coast and found a mall, just kind of walked around, relaxed, and just took it easy that day as we were flying out later that night. So we all took the airport shuttle together for those that were leaving around the same time, and we just said our farewells in the airport and headed back home. Overall, the trip was amazing. A lot to do. One of the shorter trips, but you still got to get to see everything and do shopping. It was a great mix of planned activities and free time. With a group so big, you got to do things with new people at all times and create great friendships. Sally, our tour guide, was amazing. She was funny, knowledgeable, and was able to get through any problems we had very quickly, and being able to manage a group of 40 people the way she did was just amazing. So it was all props to her. For this trip, I went with 3 friends. We had booked our own flights as we arrived early because we did the Salcantay trek, and we wanted to add the EF trip after. This was amazing. So if you are looking to do this and you have some more time off, I would definitely, and you like hiking, I stress this, if you like hiking, I would definitely do the Salcantay trek as well as the EF trip. So as for this, we booked our own flights. So this was the first time I've done that, and it went pretty well. If you do book your own flights, you are going to have to get your own transportation from the airport to the hotel. But if you work with your tour guide, it's not that difficult. So that's nothing you should worry about. So overall, I would say there wasn't any negatives really. The one thing I will tell you is if you are trying to do laundry before you leave Cusco the first time to go to Machu Picchu, make sure you do it the day before make sure you don't do it the day before you leave, because we did, and they were closed by the time we came back for our clothes when they said they'd be open. So we had to get them the next morning, and we were kind of scrambling to get them before leaving. So just make sure you're aware of that if you are planning on doing laundry. If not, then that's nothing to worry about. And there are many places around the hotel that do laundry. You could also, I believe, do laundry at the hotel, but you would have had to have done it earlier, and we did not. So it might have been on us for waiting for last second. But again, other than that, I wouldn't say there's any other problems. Everything that we did was amazing. The excursions that we went on were very, very cool. And the reason we decided to do Sky Lodge is because we had done Umante Lake and Rainbow Mountain earlier. They were absolutely beautiful, and if you decide that those are the ones you want to do, I would definitely just be warned that if you've had problems with altitude, the altitude at these places is difficult, but everyone that did it on our tour did really well and said they were fine. Just something to know. Now, for what you would want to pack, I would say it was pretty warm. I went in November, so it was bridge season going into the rainy season. So it was hot, and then it was hot during the day in the mornings till midday, and then we'd usually get a rainstorm, and then it would clear out probably after 3 hours. At night, it would get cold. So it's kind of difficult to say what exactly to wear. Just be prepared for unpredictable weather. And when you're going on the hikes, it depends on what time of the year you're going. The people that went to Rainbow Mountain got snow, so they were very unlucky. But that really just depends on the time of year that you go and the unpredictability again. Most of the times you would ask people what you could wear or what you should wear, and they would just tell you that they're not sure because the weather at that altitude can be different, and that they said just be prepared for anything. So it wasn't very helpful, but that's pretty much everything they said. And overall, it was an amazing trip, and I hope you stay tuned to see what my next trips are. I've got a couple coming up, 3 at the end of this year. So stay tuned, and I'll hope to see you on the next one.